Welcome to Manny's TV Talk, where we will talk about all of our favorite reality TV shows and news surrounding them. Grab a snack, a drink, and get comfortable because this starts now.
Fashions on your runway. Half of them are not on your site.
So what? What's the bother with Shereé? Girl, go mop them nasty ass floors in your restaurant. Go mop them nasty ass floors in your restaurant. That's what you worry about.
Nasty ass what?
Floors. They're greasy. They're greasy.
Worry about your damn.
Yo everybody, what is up? So today we're going to be talking about the first part of the Real Housewives season 15 reunion. You guys, this is one of the best reunions I've seen in a while from the Atlanta Housewives. This definitely made up for the slow ass season that we saw. So let's begin. The women arrive at New York. I wonder why they don't do the reunions at the Atlanta ballroom anymore. Anyway, the women come out with their turquoise dresses. Andy started pretty shady as he was saying hello to Kandi. He says, "I'm glad your schedule allowed you to come join us." Shereé admits that she had a nose job. Marlo mentions that she's been taking some shots. Drew says she's doing fine, but her and Ralph are still living in the same house. And Sanya is pregnant and her baby is due on Christmas Day, which is amazing. That's a blessing. But to get things started, the first segment is focused on Shereé. So we see the footage of her this season, from the Martell storyline to the She by Shereé website and to the secret daughter that Bob revealed. Andy asks Shereé about Bob's secret daughter and if her kids knew. And if they knew, why didn't they tell Shereé? And Shereé says probably because they know I don't give a S. And I thought that was pretty harsh. Also, they mentioned how supposedly Shereé has been looking like Drew lately. That's something that Kandi said on her YouTube. And they showed that clip and they showed the picture that they were claiming that Shereé looked like Drew. And Shereé says, well, that's one of my worst pictures, so whatever. Then they talk about Martell for a little bit because somebody sent in a question about him basically being a hoe. And Shereé says that they're not together anymore, but she really did like him and they're still friends. When it comes to the Kenya and the DM thing, Shereé shuts her down because Andy tells Shereé, you know, you said a lot of times that Kenya doesn't have a man. Like, that's something you've been saying. And Shereé says, well, yeah, it's true. She doesn't have a man. And Kenya says, well, I don't want a man who does this and does that. I mean, what else can she say, right? So Andy tells Kenya, please tell me that your divorce is finalized. And she says, it's not. And she brings up the motion that he filed because of when Marlo was kicking the door and Brooklyn was there when he's claiming that the little girl was put in harm's way. And Marlo is trying to apologize, but Kenya is being very mean, doesn't allow Marlo to speak, acts dumb, pretending she doesn't understand what Marlo is saying. Then she hands over a paper to Andy and she's alleging that it's a subpoena. Child, that ain't no damn subpoena. I think it was when I first saw her give it to him, I was like, that's some fake ass prop. And then Andy was like paying close attention to it and he was like observing it and he was like, the subpoena is blank. God, Kenya is so fake. Like 10 freaking seasons that she's been on and she can't even bring a prop in correctly. Like, remember when she brought that bullhorn, she didn't even have the batteries attached to it. So yeah, since Andy said that it was a fake document, like it was blank, Kenya says that during discovery 2 years ago, Marlo's phone appeared in the phone records that she was calling Mark. Kenya is saying that Mark told her that Marlo was trying to get dirt, which doesn't even make sense because if Mark is the big bad villain who's trying to destroy Kenya, why would he tell Kenya that Marlo is looking for dirt? Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Marlo is saying that is absolutely not true, and she says, you know what, now I really do want to go to court to see whatever lies she's making up about me. But then we move along to Shereé again, and they mention how Martell didn't pay for the dinner, for the birthday dinner that she had. And Shereé says, you know, he was a guest, and you know, he didn't have to pay. And then she drops some shade and says, I've never been sued by no chefs. I've never been sued by no Johnny. And they did that flashback. Y'all remember Johnny who claimed he was getting paid $2.50 and Phaedra represented him against Kandi? Well, in one way or another, Phaedra made it into the reunion. by showing that flashback, and that triggered Kandi. And she says that the fashions from the fashion show, half of them are not on the website, and all hell breaks loose. Shereé goes off. She says, so what is it to you? Worry about your restaurants. Go mop your dirty, greasy floors. Worry about that raw ass chicken. I was laughing. And it's true, a lot of people on Google reviews complain that the wait is too long in her restaurants, the food is overly salty. I mean, focus on that, Kandi. Kandi starts to go in about Shereé getting shots in her face and about her getting all these surgeries. And y'all, Shereé was doing the most. I think she got up that day and she must have said to herself, I am not getting fired. It's going to take whatever it has to take. And so she stands up and she says, let me get close to you and take a good look because you can never. I'm telling y'all, she was doing the most. Andy had to get up because he thought something could happen because they were mad. Kandi called her a low down, nothing ass B. They were very angry towards each other. And what made it hilarious was that they were both stuttering as they were trying to read each other. They then settle down and Shereé gives Drew a She by Shereé bag that she wanted so she could stop complaining. And Shereé actually printed out some fake newsletter called She News. It was shady, but it was really funny. Then they get into Drew. So we see the rundown of the music video she did, her song, and the movie. So they shot the movie for only 10 days. But Andy asks Kandi, how did you feel to hear that Drew said that after this she will only be doing movies that are Lifetime or above? Drew says that she doesn't understand what's so bad about that statement, but Kandi says that Drew was paid more than $10,000. Then they discuss a tweet Kenya put out where she said she was disappointed that Drew shaded her acting career. How could she? And they say, well, Kenya, you shaded Drew's music video, so she had no other choice but to apologize. But she says it was fun shade. Then they get into the LaToya kiss, and Kandi says that she was so mad that Drew called her a liar, and she had even decided to let it go. Like, she wasn't going to mention it anymore, but she is pissed to be called a liar repeatedly by Drew. Andy says, is there a chance you saw it wrong? And Kandi says, absolutely not. I saw them kiss. Marlo saw them kiss. Right, Marlo? And Marlo says, well, 80%. So Kandi gets mad at her for kind of backtracking on that. But Drew is saying that it's a lie, that she did not kiss LaToya, and that was candy-coated lies. And Kandi says, that was not a candy-coated lie. You are a liar. And she repeated her iconic line, the lies, the lies, the lies. You are a liar. She even goes as far as to say, instead of Ralph being the one that gaslighted Drew, I think you were the one gaslighting Ralph. Oh, listen, now I do agree with that. I do think Drew was gaslighting Ralph. I really do. But it's interesting that Kandi seems to always take her friend's husband's side. You know what I mean? Interesting, no? There's also a question asked to Marlo if she regrets shading Drew over the weight surgery comment that she made. And this is my opinion. If y'all disagree with me, let me know, of course. My heart goes out to Marlo because she was trying so hard to bite her tongue because she knows that anything she says is going to be twisted, misconstrued, villainized by those nasty three witches sitting on the other couch. Drew starts to insult her, and Marlo says, yeah, all you say is true. But then she says, you like to kiss girls and you're in denial. Marlo also says that she reached out to Ralph amid the divorce news, and Drew got pissed hearing that. Then the friends of the show come on out, Monyetta and Courtney. They ask Courtney how is she exactly related to Ralph, and she says that her mom's cousin married Ralph's uncle. I don't know, so they're not technically cousins like that. So Drew says, sounds like fake cousins to me. And Courtney came in guns blazing. She says, Drew, everything about you is fake, like don't even start. And what does Drew do? She gets something that she had with her and says, here, Courtney, I have something for you, fetch. And she throws something on the other side, and it kind of hit Marlo's gown. Like, what is wrong with her? Like, that is a form of assault, and you're too grown to be acting like a child. But yet, when Shereé was reading you over there in Portugal, you got up and cried. Like, come on, Drew, this is the grown-ups table, so, like, come on. Anyway, they move on to a Marlo segment. We see what she's been up to, how she's dating Scott Lee. They ask her if they have smashed, and she says yes. The boys are great. One of them is driving, and Courtney is helping her get her record expunged. And that's still going. And Phaedra is helping, Marlo said. And they... I found it hilarious that when Marlo said Phaedra is helping, the camera goes straight to Kandi, and she had this, mean look on her face. Then they asked Kenya, what about Roy, who went on a date with Marlo? And Kenya is so damn delusional, and she thinks that if she says something long enough, it will turn into the truth. She says it was not a date, but Marlo has proof that it was, but she doesn't even bother to explain herself. She says we have mutual people that can attest to it, but it's not even worth it anymore. Kenya says that it was not a date because Marlo's dates usually end with cash under her pillow. Wow. That woman has a dark heart. It's sickening to watch her, honestly. Who says that about another woman? What is wrong with her? Then Andy Cohen asks Kenya, why wasn't Roy around if you're supposedly dating? And she says, well, once Roy heard about the comment that Marlo made, which was that he popped her cherry, he felt uncomfortable coming. So Andy says, wait, when did he hear that comment? And she says, when the teaser came out. But he says... the trailer comes out when y'all have already wrapped filming. She's caught between a rock and a hard place, and she says, well, he had already heard something before. What a liar. Damn, this got to be her last season because she was not prepared for this reunion whatsoever. What was that? So we move on. Andy reads that somebody loved what Marlo did with her fashion rundown, so they ask her to do it again. She gives Kandi and Drew a compliment. She says he looked good, but they don't even say a word, not a thank you, not a nothing. No manners. She says something about Kenya, of course, she can't handle it, and with her couch, she said everybody looked great. So we get a little bit more into the LaToya situation and how this created the quote-unquote collusion. So we see how the divide in the group began, and we get right into it asking, why did Monyetta call this a collusion? And she gives some explanation about that, and then Sanya jumps in to explain what was actually being said. And then Courtney explains it and why she said the word beat to begin with. They bring Kandi into the conversation about what Courtney said. And Kandi doesn't seem to be mad at Courtney anymore. Kandi is bothered that Sanya didn't stick up for her. But Sanya says, wait a minute. Not too long ago, Drew posted a picture calling me names. I sent it to you and you told me, not gonna lie, kinda funny. So what is this? Kandi didn't really have anything to say. Shereé also says she's mad at Monyetta for calling her a hyena on Twitter after that door slam that Marlo did and Monyetta was behind the door. And Shereé is trying to explain that she was 2 to 3 people behind, so she didn't really see anything. She was actually trying to keep the peace, so why would she call her a hyena and accuse her of gaslighting? Something else discussed is, why did everybody get so angry that Marlo recorded, since they are in a reality TV show and Monyetta recorded as well? But some of them say that the problem they had with it was that Marlo sent it to LaToya. But to go back to Drew and Courtney, Drew is still mad on the possibility that Courtney called her a B. They also asked Kenya about her hair salon. I don't know how you have a hair salon and you came out with that hairstyle. But there's a question about Kandi. Does she even want to be part of this group? But she explains that she had just came out of the Escape show filming, so things were hectic, but she definitely does. They then mention the finale and what went down. Monyetta says that Drew definitely told her that her crush was Ty, and Drew says it was a joke. What kind of joke is that? Where's the punchline? That's what I was trying to figure out. Andy then asks Courtney, what did Ralph say to her about the divorce and the aftermath? And she says he was very hurt by everything that happened. Drew says that Ralph has been coaching Courtney, that Courtney doesn't know anything she's talking about. Drew then says another thing. She says, don't you ever talk about my son. I'm going to let you live this time, but don't you ever do that. She was really mad. You could say, when you're so mad you're about to cry? That's how Drew was. Now, y'all know how I feel about this, and I know I am in the minority, but I still think that talking about someone's child is saying your kid is blank. Your kid did blank. But I see both sides. And again, this is a reality show, so they do go low. But I don't know. I really don't know. I stand kind of in the fence on that. By Courtney saying, of course she wanted the adoption so she could go and run off with her gay lover. That, like, the read is on Drew. But again, I do understand how it implies her child. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what y'all's thoughts are about that. But that was the end of the first part reunion. Really good. Like I said, the reunion is better than the whole season, so I'm glad that at least we got that. And, you know, seeing the reunion kind of makes you think, like, damn, maybe they do have some potential. Maybe getting rid of a few, but maybe a reboot isn't necessary. So we'll see what happens next week. It'll be part 2, and Ralph will come out, and we'll get more drama. So we'll see how that turns out. But as for now, you guys, let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, let me know. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a great one. Bye.